hello there, YouTube, and welcome to a shockingly warm 44-degree Friday the 31st, last day of January. Look at Abby out there doing her rounds. Danny still hangs up by the car because he's thinking Kelly's going to give him another doggy treat. If a dog don't show it, he's probably already got Abby's. Because you can't leave it anywhere because, well, he'll get it anyway. But she's always been a hunter. Our mole hole digger. She ain't got no front teeth. She's dug so many moles. But, she ain't got a lot of speed to her anymore, but she still does her roaming around hunting. Crazy old coot. But yeah, this is the first time in over 2 weeks that everything's not just frozen solid. And we got a good rain last night, so hopefully that salt that they do the highway with nowadays, it's just the state highway. You know, any of the county roads either graveled or use that chemical stuff, which is it can make its own mess, but the stuff they're using now is not as bad, and it doesn't harm anything. It doesn't harm motorcycles and stuff. It just washes off. Don't leave it on too long though, I promise you. It's hard to get off. It loves to stick on chrome things and apparently electrical connections on BMWs. But anyway, welcome to a shockingly warm 44 degrees. I mean, I feel like I could just take off on it with my t-shirt on a dirt bike somewhere or something, you know. It's crazy. But anyway, welcome to Friday. 46 degrees, isn't it pretty, well, maybe about 10 or 15 miles down the freeway. It wasn't raining, then it kicked in. Yeah. And it's been wet ever since. Not wet. A couple times the rain was decently heavy, but mostly it's like this, just mist.
So green.
Yeah.
Misty stuff.
It's weird that it was dry and frozen for that long.
Yeah.
Even though the temperatures, you know, could get up in the 40s, nothing ever thawed out on the ground. Yeah. Anything that's in the shade was still froze.
It was.
Oh, Mama?
Yes, I
reckon we should just roll on out of here, huh?
All right.
Get our Friday going and
get her done.
Start our weekend.
All right.
Sounds really good to me.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Love you. See you. Bye.
I love you, hubby.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I reckon it's time to start busting into this thing. Probably tackle the brakes first. Get those all flushed out. That's a pretty decent job. Not as bad as the old twins with the 2012 and prior. They had the proprietary calipers, the ones that squeaked all the time when you backed up. These Brimbos, they're much easier. The old ones, you had to take the front calipers off, unbolt them, and relocate them to a place up top and zip tie them down, because the bleed screw was not in the highest spot. So if you had air in there, you just bleed forever and never get it all out. But yeah, you had to do that. I think warranty time, God, that was some ungodly amount of time to do it. Plus getting to the VCI to bleed the VCI, you know, the ABS module, was all but impossible to get to it. It was crazy. You almost had to take the front tub off, and even then it was difficult. But anyway, well, that's something I was going to tell you. Oh. So I asked the salesperson, I said, I thought the guy was going to pick up the Champagne RT Limited yesterday. And he goes, well, she come down with it's going around everywhere, all over the country. It's going around here too. But it's flu season. She done caught the bug. So as soon as she gets better, next week sometime, she'll come get her. Hopefully the weather will be nicer than it is today. I think that was the goal, is to try to get it while the weather was nice. And cool beans. See, there's something else I was going to talk about. Something I was thinking about when I first got here, but went upstairs and got Kelly her coffee and me my cider and talked to those guys and forgot what it was. Now I'm back down here and going, there was something I was going to talk about. I just don't recall. I wonder what. I noticed this yesterday, exactly in the same spot. So it's almost like something was attached here to these two little marks. And you can see the rubbing on it. Like it's been there for a while and like something was stuck there. I just can't even imagine what it would be. So you can see the kind of rough marks around it. I just can't imagine. I was thinking a cover or something. Well, a cover wouldn't lay down and put pressure points on something. It almost feels like it was something rubber and had been stuck there for a while. Maybe it had some deer whistles or something crazy on there. That could have been. Who knows? But anyway. Oh. So I popped the trunk to take the the access cover off so you can hook it up to the computer, and I noticed the bag was unzipped, so I pulled it back and the door is just laying there. There's you don't ever want to ride one of these things in the rain without that door in there, because everything you have, anything that can touch the bottom of this thing, and the worst thing is your carpet gets wet and it takes forever to dry it out. But yeah, the water comes absolutely right through that battery door if that's not on there. But anyway, it'd be easy to check the battery. That's one of my things. And I need to check that right away because it's curious that that's off. That's telling me that maybe they had the jump started. Because there's looks like a tender lead with clamps. Maybe that's how he charges it. Doesn't even have no one's ever put a tender lead on it. I think we should put a tender lead on this thing so you can just open the hood and plug into it. But anyway, better get on. So this was that second battery tender lead that was on that champagne one. I had two of them on there. I don't know. Could have been an accessory or something, but doesn't look like this thing's ever even been plugged into. So it's probably done. So put a little slit in that. This is where the cigarette lighter goes in if you get that option. And that's a perfect place to run the tender lead through. Just have it come through a little gap in the carpet. Dielectric grease. Both terminals were loose. And I mean, not like spin it by finger loose, but way looser than they should be. So they got dielectric grease tightened up. And the battery health, voltage is a little low, but despite that, it was a 12.58. You kind of want to see somewhere around 12.7. And anyway, the charge rate was 100%, oddly enough, and health is 98%. That is a perfect Yuasa battery. Typical Yuasa. Take care of them, they'll take care of you. Now I don't have battery. What I've been doing here, because I end up with extra battery bolts, and as you can see, it's a 10mm or a number 3 Phillips, and I find that people find it easier to get into their battery compartment there with that in there. And I've seen a bunch of other people doing that, so hey, works good. It's an anti-corrosive bolt for the most part, and they're short because you got the depth of that insert is quite shallow, so it needs to be a short bolt. Anyway, put the cover on and ship him. That part of it anyway. Cool beans. See, a couple of little short battery bolts. You can use either a 10mm socket, wrench, or a number 3 Phillips. And you don't have to snug those things down tight, just snug them. Because you don't want to over tighten those brass inserts in that plastic. And then what I'll do is I'll zip the carpet up in a way that the tender lead ends up having its own little hole here. And everybody's happy. But impossible to do this with one hand. We're gonna try. Come on, baby. There you are. You're working with me. Gonna make this turn. That carpet tries to fold edges with me. There you are. Sorry about the crazy camera movement. And then I just take the top of this. Oh, jeez, I'm not even going to take the top of the cord and stick it down in the little pocket. And it's always accessible when you got other stuff down in here. Yeah, that looks like a battery tender. It is battery tender. You can see their name on it. So yeah, he's got the matching plug. Don't go backwards on this thing. Trust me, don't go backwards. Don't use this as a jumper. That's for putting your charger in there if you don't have the lead. But if you got the lead, you just plug your tender or Optimate into that. And everything's happy. Plus, if you got one of those little motorcycle air pump things, most of those things have a SAE plug like this, and you can plug them in and run a pump or whatever. 12 volt thing. Can't be super high amps. It needs to be under 10 amps, and you can run stuff with it. I put them little USB dongles in there and charge stuff up front. Works great. I even hook extra tender leads to my bikes and stuff one like in a saddlebag or something, like on the Harleys are good because they got a nice big rubber seal like this and they can go over it. The GSA there and the aluminum panniers I have on the Puma, they fit too tight. You'd end up, you don't want something electrical going over a sharp edge, so be careful where you put it. But it's great, like you going into a restaurant, just leave a bag loose, and I have those little like 10-point USB-A. It's a little brick, and it has a SAE on one side. And I plug that into the tender, and I've got phone cameras, little the battery packs, little kits you can get for the cameras to get all that stuff charging on there. And while you're in there having lunch, breakfast, or whatever, you don't want to leave it on there a long time, because needless to say, that's going to draw from your bike's battery. So be careful. All right. Well, there's probably a good reason that battery's in really good health, because he had a battery event at some point. There's just a host of codes. It's all of it is battery related, and usually it occurs when you start it up, because once that voltage breaks through a voltage threshold, what I like to say is the CAN bus orb collapses. When it does, the first things that start going off is VSS, your power steering box starts throwing codes everywhere. It's all low voltage related. There's nothing, it occurred and that's it. It's not a persistent thing. So I was telling you, boy, this thing is lit up. I think this bike has been in here before, prior to him having it, or maybe he's brought it in here. But either he or the previous, I think it's the previous owner, really liked the lights. I've had quite a few people ask why the new RTs, why the brake fluid goes dirty so fast. And some people even buy the first service. This is not rainwater. That is nice, clean water. Gotta be careful when you're spraying around here, because it goes past that crack. This is not a sealed area right here. It goes back and hits it. I'm using it as a prop right now because I gotta get a sucker and get that out of there, just in case there's something more than water. It's just kind of moved to the edge. I don't want to go in anywhere else. But that's just pure water. There's no brake fluid in that at all. But that riding inside there, that gets in there, and that's how you end up with that super dark brake fluid. Although his doesn't look terribly bad. But anyway, let me suck the water out of that thing, because it's going to be hard for me to test it if I drop water into it, because I don't know how fast it dilutes in there, but it's going to give me a bad reading. So I'll just get my brake bleeder, suck that out of there, and very carefully pull the cup up. Probably dry around the edge. But yeah, you got to be careful. And well, I'll have to have the lid off to show you. The school of thought was to have there's vents that face kind of like a boat. They face, one direction. They come up and, they tilt over. Well, they were telling us to face inward to it, but I think you need to face outward, because this cover is bubbled. So when it hits it, it's going down that crack and blasting right down at the cap. Well, if the vents are facing outward, it's in the bubble of this thing. And you got that noise suppression foam and stuff that's in there. And so I've been flipping them so the vents are facing outward, which if you wash it with the cover off, you could do some harm. If you washing inside here for some reason, cover that cap up. That vent right there is open. Here, I can even shine my light in there and show it to you. See, it's open one way and it's tilted, so it's not going. It's a louvered cap. You can see it right there. I don't think this camera focuses up close very well, but yeah. So have that open end facing out. And whatever you do, if you're washing this thing, make sure you're not blasting water in that area. Cover it up somehow, and do your washing. But let me get on with this thing. Haven't checked his brake pads yet, but that tells me he's probably got some low rear brake pads. You can see the fronts are at the level mark, and the rear they're backwards. Remember, the front cup is for the rear. The rear cup is for the front. I just don't ask me why. So let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, she's at a critical change point. Should be changed immediately. Oh, that one really flew up there, and that was towards the front. That's probably the one that was getting the water. Let her reset here. Watch how quick that thing. Here, let's show the rear or the front one again. Slowly. Then it goes. This is what I refer to when I talk to the customers, is it blew the cap off. Watch this thing immediately go. Bam! Yeah, she's all the way. When it goes all the way to the second red, it is absolutely critical that it gets replaced immediately, because it's got so much moisture in there. The odds of boiling the brakes and you losing your brakes is real, very real. So I sucked these things as dry as I could, and then I used, of course, BRP XPS brake fluid, .4, and just stir it around. Look how milky that is. Look how nasty that is in there. Just get in there and just stir it around real good, and get around you can get behind the cups and stuff. Just try to scrape all that off, because when you start bleeding, you don't want to suck this old crap into your system. So I'll start off with a clean, fresh cup. And if this doesn't clean it out good, you can you gotta set yourself up a little area with a drain pan. Make sure it's where nothing's gonna splash on anything. Carpet this thing up, and just use a brake cleaner and lightly spray that in there. And you take before you flush, the first one you take off, back the pucks off, and it'll push that stuff, anything that got in the line, it'll push that up first, and then fill it with fresh brake fluid and continue flushing. I don't want any crap in my brakes. None. You got one pedal that stops everything, and this is a big boy, and they go real fast. It needs to stop. It needs to stop well. Okay, I didn't have to resort to the flushing. I'm super happy with how clean that is. Oh, I've showed you guys the Bike Master brake bleeder, which they don't exist. If you don't know, Bike Master and Tucker Rocky, whoever that was from, don't exist anymore. But this is basically the same one from Harbor Freight, but it has half again, maybe double the power. You want a good flusher. This one works way good. Tim bought one because he went up to get them, and at that point they were gone. So we went to Harbor Freight. It is, I think it's like $26 or something. The Bike Master was $19.95 at the time. Worked really good. And I mean, I'm doing this in a commercial thing, and that Bike Master one lasted forever. It finally cracked at the end, and it was leaking brake fluid. Well, I can't have brake fluid leaking anywhere. Plus, when it cracked, it was leaking air. I noticed the power just stopped. You need it to flush fast. And so Tim had one. I borrowed his, and borrowed it a couple times, and went, got to hit a Harbor Freight and get one. I did a video when I got that thing, but anyway, so I can top my cups off, get this thing in the air, take the front wheels off, and get access to the rear caliper, which drives you nuts. The exhaust and everything's in the way. You got to loosen this is a muffler bearing. It'll pivot on there. It's like a ball. Swing the muffler out, tighten the clamp, so you got a big gap in there so you can get to the rear master cylinder. And I'll have to look again, but I think it's left, right, rear VCM, or is it left, right VCM, rear? I gotta look in the book. Anyway, the sequence that you go through really helps when you have a helper, but I'm usually here down by myself. I can work it out. I can move fast for an old dude. 3 bottles. I got enough to top the cups off. You can see they're at the lower level. That was my last flush. I just kept flushing. Just do it the BMW way. It's not whether it's clear or not, it's the volume you push through it. So here's, take a 13, loosen that pinch bolt, and you can swing the exhaust. It'll float on the hanger. Swing it out, pull it away, and then tighten it, and it'll give you the room to get in here. And there's the bleeder valve right there. But and oddly enough, them rear brake pads are in fantastic shape, like practically new shape. I don't know why the fluid was low. One of the tricks when you're putting new pads in is to suck some of the brake fluid out of the reservoir. So when you back the pucks all the way off to put the new ones in, you don't overpressure, and if you overpressurize this thing, it'll force fluid out of it. So a lot of people, maybe somebody did that and just didn't go back. But let me get the wheels on, make sure I got all my caps on. Yes, everything's tightened, they're back on. VCM same way, left the tool hanging out. There she is, happy as a clam. Fresh service, fresh brake flush. Only thing it needs is a tire. It's on the wear bars now. But everything else, she's golden. Everything looks nice. All the lights, even the aftermarket lights, are all working. She's in good shape. Just waiting for been running for a while here. Just waiting for the fan to start cycling here. But it's got to cycle. It has to cycle at least once before I can check the oil. And it's just absolutely pouring down rain outside, so I don't know if I can get the tire on there today. I generally don't do the tires because it takes my back absolutely out. So I doubt he's going to be rushing down here to pick this thing up in this weather anyway. So anyway, looking good. I'm happy with it. I hope he's happy with it. Hope everybody's happy with it. Good looking bike. Well, hello there, YouTube. Look at this. Before it's dark, we are like 5 minutes past sunset. It's 23 after sunset's at 5:15. We bailed out at 4 today.
Yes.
I got Kelly quiet up there. I got that Spyder done, other than the tire. But yeah, good day. That was fun with the Spyder. Hope you guys enjoyed all that. I did a lot of recording around that thing. So anyway, from here we're starting our weekend.
Yes. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same smoke time, same smoke channel. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, and you guys have an amazing Saturday or Sunday.
Thank you. Talking about snow Sunday, so
we may turn all white.
I was talking about that in yesterday's video. People talking about snowing this weekend. There's nothing showing. It is now. And next week could be a snowy week.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But on that, appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.